The world lost a friend. Matthew Perry, who played Chandler Bing on the hit show Friends, passed away, dead at the age of 54 after an apparent drowning. It's terrible. Jason, when you sent the text to everybody, it was like right around 8 o'clock on Saturday night, and we were sitting outside enjoying the fall weather, and when you sent it out, I really had a sad, just a sadness. It was like...
When I saw it, I thought, this has got to be fake.
Yeah.
So I started looking, and then all of a sudden, when I went to the credible, so you can say, celebrity-type websites, they all had it reported.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? And then I was like, hot tub? Like, I get it. You can drown anywhere, but it's not the most typical drowning places.
It was also, I think, very surprising given what it is we know Matthew Perry has been struggling with for the past 30 years, which is alcohol and substance abuse.
Yeah, my first thought was drugs.
100%.
Mm-hmm. And I hate to think
100%,
that. My
yeah.
first thought was drugs.
Did you think it was drugs that he died? That's it? Or did you think, because I initially thought it was, he must have took drugs and passed out in the hot tub.
I didn't see the part about the hot tub until I clicked the link.
Right.
And then read, I think, a little bit deeper into the story. But when it just said that Matthew Perry had passed away, immediately I thought drugs and alcohol.
For sure,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I thought
100%.
it was definitely, I still think there's a possibility it could be associated with drugs because how do you drown in the hot tub?
Well, I think we had an expert on before when Whitney Houston drowned in the bathtub, and they said adults don't just drown in bodies of water like that. Something else is going on. Either they had a heart attack and they were found under the water, that they didn't die of actually drowning. Does that make sense? Like he may have had a heart attack. Let's just say he was clean and sober, and he's had what I read something he had 17. Maybe we're getting into this later, but 17 different surgeries associated with drug use.
Yes.
Surgeries?
Surgeries.
What do you mean surgeries?
Different problems he's had, complications. He almost,
He almost, and we are going to get into it a little bit, where actually Matthew Perry will tell us about his time where they basically pulled what they called a Hail Mary on him, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. But and then his stints in rehab and just how even Matthew Perry will describe in a little bit about how he used to be able to look at a Friends episode, not knowing what season it was, and just be able to say, oh, I was on opioids. That was season 3. Or, oh, I was extremely hungover. That episode, that was season 1.
Because there was a lot of weight fluctuation, I think, too, with, I forget which one causes you to gain weight or not, but there's huge differences in weight quickly.
Yeah, and speaking of the autopsy, we do know that the autopsy is complete. We're still pending the toxicology report, but the autopsy does report that Matthew Perry died of drowning. And so, it's like...
And the toxicology report reveals if there's any type of drug activity or alcohol or something.
And that takes, 3 or 4 weeks?
Yes, I think so. I believe. And they do report that they found prescription medications in his home, but they were, when they're prescribed, people know that you're on them. And another thing coming up in just a few, Matthew Perry will talk about the time that he used to go to open houses for a very shocking reason. But yes, the toxicology report is still pending, but the autopsy has been completed.
Do you know the medications?
Yes, I believe they were Xanax and... Oh, there was another one. There were 2, I believe, that they found inside the home.
Because ultimately, prescription medications are drugs. And if they're used the wrong way, they're mixed the wrong way, they can be just as dangerous as regular drugs. And Xanax makes you makes you very tired. If you take too many Xanax or mix that with alcohol or whatever, I'm not saying that's happening. But you can speculate. That can make you pass out where you don't wake up when you start to drown.
Well, the authorities, we were just asking about the prescription drugs. Authorities found antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, and a COPD drug in the house. COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It's used for people who have emphysema or chronic bronchitis. And Matthew Perry was... a lifelong smoker. So I don't know if that's related. Maybe he had some other
oxygen issues.
Yeah, sure. So an online report has reported the status of Perry's cause of death currently is listed as deferred. It's pending additional investigation, and I believe that is because they want to wait until the toxicology reports come in. But he was found unresponsive, and what we now know is he was dead
in his hot tub.
In the hot tub. Yeah. So Matthew Perry.
Sorry, did he live by himself? Do you know?
Yes, I think
because
so.
he was engaged earlier in the year, but that didn't last.
They broke that off, and I do believe that he lived by himself. If he had a roommate, I haven't read anything about that. But
he wasn't married or anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't have. If he has kids, they're not with him.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
He doesn't have kids. That's right.
Yeah, because a friend of his, by the way, learned a lot about Matthew Perry. Things that I'm not quite sure how I didn't know them when he was living. But his stepfather, Keith Morrison, is that correct? From Dateline.
Oh, that's his stepdad?
Yes, has been his stepdad since 1981. He married Matthew Perry's mother, and he was very, very close with his stepfather his whole life. Since 1981 anyway.
That's a lot of his life, 40-some years.
Yeah, a lot of his life. And he reports saying that Matthew Perry died lonely because he always wanted to have a wife and kids, and they say he's even open to marrying a woman with kids because he loved his relationship with his stepfather.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's very sad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Very sad. Matthew Perry does, if you are familiar with Matthew Perry, or maybe you're not, he played Chandler Bing on Friends.
I don't want to be single, okay? I just want to be married again.
Single white male, divorced 3 times,
Right there.
2 illegitimate children. The personal ad writes itself.
That's funny. So do you think you'll ever work again?
What are you doing? You know I can only dish it out.
I like that.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Matthew Perry, by the way, had returned home to his home after a 2-hour round of pickleball, and he left early because he was telling his friends that he was not feeling like he just was very tired. And so he had been playing pickleball earlier in the afternoon. And then I think that it's just his speculation that he's tired. He's not feeling so great. He wanted to get into the hot tub. Jason, you sent us what was his last
that was creepy,
text
but that wasn't
or post. It was not the night.
The post was not the night. It was a previous night that he was in his hot tub.
Yeah.
And that was his last post. Do you know if he was playing doubles or singles?
I am not sure.
That sounds like doubles to me.
It might have been doubles.
Because depending how you play, one could be more exhausting.
Could be, but he did end up leaving early, Matthew Perry, because he was feeling very tired.
Okay.
But continuing on with a little bit of Matthew Perry audio. Matthew Perry in 2016, he's done a lot of interviews, mostly because he struggled outwardly and openly for a very long time with substance abuse and alcoholism, and he also says that there was a time when he didn't remember, like he was able to pinpoint there are a good 3 years where he doesn't remember his life.
I think the answer is I don't remember 3 years of it. A little bit of the time I was a little out of it, yeah. My answer to your question is somewhere between season 3 and 6.
He has no recollection of it.
I've heard other
whatsoever.
actors say that when they had drug problems, like they'll film a whole movie and they don't remember being on set one time. I'm like, what? And like big movies. Like, how?
How do you not?
I think sometimes the pills, like the pain pills, makes your memory foggy. And didn't they do like a little get-together reunion type thing, and then he seemed like he was not all there?
Yes, he definitely, it was like the reunion. And Matt, I know your wife is a really big Friends fan, so if I'm missing any of, because I'm a fan, but definitely not as big as, she was like going to watch it in movie theaters, right? When they re-released?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been to, I think it was in Atlanta, they did like a Friends pop-up where they decorated like a set somewhere in Atlanta where you could go to the coffee shop and the apartments and all that stuff. And she went like for a weekend and went through the whole experience and just raved about it. I actually broke the news to her when Jason sent that text.
Oh.
And she was in the shower and she said, she was like just in shock, and she said, "I need my phone." I'm like, "You're in the shower." She goes, "I have to call out
like,
people.
give me
I have
my
to
phone."
call the people that went to this thing with me."
Friends.
She was just blown away.
Gosh.
And I hate to say this, but I think I've seen half an episode of Friends my whole life.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you should definitely binge.
Yeah, I would think that you would like that show.
Yeah.
I probably it's
would.
huge. I'm not saying it's bad or good.
Yeah.
I just some shows
There's
you just miss.
Sure.
You know what the funny thing is with the Friends thing, my wife and daughter is huge into the show, and I've seen it because they've watched the reruns so many times over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And for a while, it was every single day for 2 hours a day that would be on in the background.
Right.
And there's certainly enough episodes to be able to do that for a very long time.
I was late to The Office, and I binge watched it. I was late to Parks and Rec and binge watch it, so I just haven't done it.
Well, and I think the best part about Friends, it's this. I feel the same way about Sex and the City, where it's so relatable. It's one of those sitcoms that it just, no matter what phase of life you're in, you find somebody that you identify with.
Yeah, they're all pretty
Absolutely.
vulnerable, all of them.
Oh, totally.
Okay, so Friends is that on Netflix still? Because wasn't there a big thing like somebody had to pay like $500 million to get the rights of Friends?
It went to HBO. It left Netflix and went to HBO Max.
So is that where it is right now?
I'll see where it's at now.
Because I'll tell you something. Not to capitalize on anything, but I guarantee you, whoever owns the rights to us now is like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have the biggest consumption we've ever had because it was so huge on Netflix, and that's where we were watching it every day. That even though this old show is so huge, I think somebody paid like $500 million for the rights of it, and now they're gonna have sole proprietorship over it. Wow.
Well, it's currently listed as on Max, so Max has it. But I know
is that the HBO Max?
Yeah, they changed the name of their platform to just Max.
Just Max.
But you can still, like Nick at Night shows it every single night. TBS still shows it during the day. So there's still channels that show it if you want to watch it there.
But if you want to stream it,
If you want to stream the whole thing, Max is where to do it currently.
I mean, you could probably DVR the other stations, I'm assuming.
And if Nickelodeon and TBS currently have it, they're going to push other programming currently to probably do marathons of it nonstop. So set a DVR or whatever you've got, and you'll be able to catch it in probably 2 days.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Matthew Perry, dead at the age of 54 after being found unresponsive in his hot tub. Told you just a minute ago that Matthew Perry has been very open and honest throughout his whole life about, his adult life, about addiction and substance abuse. And he actually wrote a book. He released his memoir. It was called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And in the very beginning of the book, I think it was a shocking statement for a lot of people to read and hear about.
You start with a thunderclap. Hi, my name is Matthew, although you may know me by another name. My friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead.
Dang.
That's definitely true.
You're on methadone, Xanax, full quart of vodka a day?
55 Vicodin a day.
Oh my gosh.
Full quarter, he said quarter vodka
Full
and 55
vodka.
Xanax a day.
And she says, we know you were drinking.
Yeah, imagine how scary a moment that was. She was the one that reached out the most. And, I'm really grateful to her for that.
It was Jennifer Aniston. He said that Jennifer Aniston approached him one time on the set of Friends and said, we know
You're
that
not okay.
Yeah, you're not okay. And he said that he's been forever grateful to her to check in with him. Because that's, number one, not an easy thing for somebody to say to another human being because you don't know how they're going to react.
You think that you would say something, but people don't.
But they don't. And he said, I'm forever grateful because she cared enough to risk that. And then, I mean, that's a tricky situation.
How do you think Matthew Perry, if he couldn't remember being on the set for 3 years, remembered his lines?
Well, so we have a little bit of audio of that as well, because it's very surprising.
Like, I can't remember lines now.
Yeah.
But he can remember lines when he can't remember 3 years of his life. It's odd to me.
Right.
I had worked with somebody, not here, some other place that had issues, and they had done the job for so long.
It's autopilot.
They're autopilot,
Yeah.
and they didn't remember doing any of the stuff that day at work. But you're like, really?
Right, like you were on it.
Yeah, I was like, I watched you work.
Uh-huh.
And like, I don't remember it. I'm like,
oh, not
dang.
here. Sorry, never mind.
No, not here. Not here.
Thanks, Katie.
No, it's a different place.
Sorry, excuse me.
It was
The
when I
other
was.
place y'all work together at.
Yeah.
I didn't say I worked with Katie.
I was just so quick to remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
She remembers it because you've told it so
Yes,
eloquently
thank you,
for so many
guys.
years.
I was in college.
Am I drinking right now? I'm just wondering.
Well, I'm talking about Katie. Where she used to come in hungover and she didn't remember the show.
Yeah.
I'm sober all the time. I don't remember what we do.
I know.
Yeah.
No kidding. And then, and I think actually we're going to have to, we have so much audio to remember Matthew Perry by that we're going to actually have to, I think, break it up just a little bit so that we can organize our thoughts a little. Maybe I just need to organize my thoughts. But I will leave you with this, that Matthew Perry says that he doesn't want to be remembered by as his character as Chandler Bing. Instead, this is how he wants to be remembered.
The best thing about me, bar none, is if somebody comes up to me and says, I can't stop drinking, can you help me? I can say yes and follow up and do it. That's the best thing.
Really?
Yeah.
And
But he couldn't do it himself.
I've said this for a long time. When I die, I don't want Friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I want that to be the first thing that's mentioned. And I'm going to live the rest of my life proving that.
And I did read tons of articles of people saying, oh, he helped me get sober. He helped me get sober.